Now everybody's here. All right. Um, um, I got lost walking back, so I'm a little late. I was hoping to eat before I came on. But Ham will be on in 5 minutes. It looks like Iran made a concession, which is good. United Health shares plunge. The panic to get long. The panic to get long. Kraft Heinz is going to pour $3 billion into United States factories. 3 minutes till Ham comes on. Recognizing the Nakba doesn't deny Israel's existence. Trump is finally calling to end the Gaza war. Will Netanyahu listen? I doubt it. I doubt it. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Let me be clear. We intend to make the Trump HHS not just the most effective, but also the most compassionate in U.S. history. Our official budget statement outlines many priorities, but I will highlight a few. First, we will consolidate programs to better tackle mental health and addiction. These issues now rival chronic disease in their impact. HHS will aggressively combat the opioid crisis, especially the spread of synthetic drugs like fentanyl. We will empower state, local, and tribal leaders to create effective solutions. Second, we will address nutrition, physical activity, and healthy lifestyles. The president's budget requests $94 billion in discretionary funds to support these priorities, including the Administration for a Healthy America. We will emphasize healthy eating and Head Start and ensure the program continues to serve its 750,000 children and parents effectively. Third, we will equip the FDA to expand its food safety efforts through research, regulations, independence, and education, remove harmful chemicals.
Hello,
Hey, William.
you ready?
Are you ready? I'm ready to go.
Let me just turn the volume to the max. All right,
Mhm.
you can go.
All right, everybody. I went out to meet a guy and had a few drinks with him and took a pot gummy, so just bear with me. I'm trying to get calm down my cough. But the gentleman put me on the phone. He's a broker. Put me on the phone with a conference call with 3 hedge funds on it. And I talked to him about BAM Investor. He says he thinks the stock's going to pop to 615. So I told these guys he's a 615 top. And all 3 of them are going to be buying the stock. I don't know how they do it. I couldn't ask those questions. But all 3 all agreed that there's a big short. And the manipulation is very easy to see. And they think the upside is not as quite as high as I think, but they don't know it as well as we do. But 3 hedge funds. They're not monster hedge funds. They're $50 to $500 million guys, but they have a lot of friends in the circle. So, a $50 million hedge fund could buy, a million shares of stock is not a big deal. So you understand, it doesn't have to be $1 billion guy all the time. It doesn't always have to be $1 billion fund that's buying these things. Hold on, the dog just turned on the TV.
What's he watching?
I don't know, but he just hit the button and just turned it on. They knocked over my cup of tea. They put the TV on. They ripped the couch. They're out of control. But anyway, so I did that. I went to see the guy. I had a couple of drinks, and he was, he'll get some water flow out of it, the guy. So he's thrilled about it. And, I gave him an idea, which he could sell to his clients, and he put me on the phone with the clients. So, again, I don't know the clients. He put me on the phone with them, and I don't know how they operate. I told them that we think the stock's going to 615 tomorrow. That's what I told him based on what BAM put up on. He said his algorithm showed the stock going back up. It's going to break out to 615. So that's what I told him. I says, where do you want the stock to go? He says, I think we're going to 615. And the 3 of them said they'll be buyers. I don't know if they jump in, how they do. I have no idea. I don't even know the gentleman. I just put on the call and I just was told to tell the story, and I did. They came back with some questions and I answered them all. They asked me how it started. I told them Lynn Partners. One guy laughed. I said, they're pretty notorious, and he understood it. I don't know if he knew him or, whatever. I don't know. Also, I just want to let you know, again, I heard the Anson Fund, Kristen Shaughnessy put up something about the Anson Fund giving up everybody. I told you we heard someone inside of Lynn's circle got served. I don't know who it is, but the shit's hitting the fan. And if you read the story Christian put up there, I think indictments are coming out shortly on everybody, and these guys are all going to jail. They're going to have to try to wiggle their way out, give up everybody they can. Remember, Anson was using Canaccord.
Yeah.
They're using Canaccord out of Canada. He's got relationships with all these guys. They're all going to get in trouble. You remember, Canaccord is it's just like one of those shitty market makers that we have in the U.S., only they consider themselves more prestigious. They're a Canadian brokerage firm. They've been thieves and scoundrels and a front for naked short selling for a long time. I'm sure this guy at Canaccord made a fortune from naked shorting for that guy, the Anson Fund. And all the thieves and scoundrels were all going through Canaccord. Back in the day, they all used Canaccord. So again, the walls are caving in on these guys. So for the people that think that the shorts are going to win, there's a lot of heat on the bad guys right now. I told you, the trade is on the long side, not the short side. If this was 5 years ago, 8 years ago, I would tell you, hey, you know what? It's a tough fight, but everything is going bad for these guys. Everything. They're short and distort guys are going to jail. Andrew left and Hindenburg, they're going out. Capybara's a piece of shit out of Brazil. He's just hiding in a hut. He has no juice yet. He can never get on TV and use the power that these other guys have. When I spoke before, I think I talked about, Chanos, talked about how he bashed the stock when finally was DeVita, Dog Victor Apple. He wrote a story that the company was a scam. Stock went from 58 to 53, and I think he covered on that downdraft. And I was waiting, and I posted about it. I said, where's the DOJ? If it's really a fraud, it's going to be shut down. Well, nothing ever happened. I said the stock was going to go to 125 or zero. It went to 170. Pinos quit, and the stock he was trying to short was a kidney dialysis machine, DVA, and 40% of it was owned by Warren Buffett. So these guys are trying to bring down anybody, anywhere. They can yell fire. He yelled it. The company's a fraud. There was no fraud, and it just goes away. And he retired, and that was the end of him. So people, these guys are bad guys. They don't care. It's all about money. And you know what? I was just watching something on YouTube, and what are these guys looking to do with their money? I don't even get it. These guys are willing to go to jail, just to steal another $1 million. I don't get it. I guess these guys don't know what it's like to be in jail. As far as I see, maybe they didn't go to the movies and see what these guys look like in jail. I got me. These guys have no fear, couldn't care less. And I do think that once they start throwing them in jail, you're going to see them all start to run. All right? So what I'm going to do tomorrow morning, based on the conference call that I had this afternoon or this evening, I'm going to call my friends and clients up and tell them, hey, we have a good chance that we're going to break 615 tomorrow. All right, so we got 3 hedge funds coming in. I'll try to get my people to come in, and we'll see if we break these guys out. And hopefully you guys can all score on your options, stop worrying about them. And again, so hopefully we can get that done for you. Again, it's not easy to do. I don't know these people, but we'll be out there buying, and we'll see what happens. Slow and steady, William. The slow march is the best. When the volatility is not in the stock, you have a nice, easy day, and the stock just grinds higher. After our move, the stock popped up, and we were still up on the day. No matter what you say, these guys couldn't get the stock to go down. How many times, William, have they bashed us down and we're down on the day? You could count, probably 1,000 times, right, William? These guys always attack, trying to push it from green to red, hurry up. And they do it in GameStop, and they do it in DJT also. There was a story I just read. Frankie Nez said that Susquehanna just bought 3 million shares of GameStop. I'm giving you a heads up. These places buy the stock, and they lend it out. They don't need to borrow the shares. They get it and lend it out. All right? They lend out the shares. So people are thinking Susquehanna is investing in the company. They're just buying the shares in the open market, and they lend it out at these crazy rates. Now, in finger motion, someone just posted the rate was over 300% to borrow a share, and there were no shares available, 1,000 and nothing. All of a sudden, William, we got 50,000, 20,000, and the rate is down to 218. If people weren't lending it at 330 or whatever it was, the high, who's trying to drive it down and make the rates go lower? I don't know what buffoon would lend their shares out when it was just 300. They didn't want to do it, and now they're trying to do it at 2 something. It just doesn't make any sense that anybody would do that. Try to drive down the rate. Doesn't affect me. You're just going to get less of your shares. Give the crooks an opportunity to sell more shares and put more weight onto the stock. But listen, it doesn't make a difference to me. At the end of the day, the more shares that these guys are going to have to buy back. Again, people, the numbers are massive. I think the short ratio today was 68%. If you take away the 100,000 that they crossed at the 470, that 68% is probably 85%. Who knows how many more wash trades they did today? I didn't watch every trade. All right, so the numbers are still massive. Where we trade, I don't even know what the number was today. We traded 2 million again. So
Something like
70%. Yeah, so it's another 1.4 million, 1.5 million shares. I'm staying firm at 260 million. I'm not going to add any more. It doesn't even pay. But you can see $1 million a day is $5 million a week, 20 million a month, and they're not covering. How the real short is standing, you're short at $1.16 with the stock at $4.70. It's a miracle, and I think we're going to see a reduction because I think the naked short is actually selling it to him. Maybe that's the only thing I can think of. But at some point, he's got to buy back that 3 million shares. And it's not showing up anywhere that they're buying it. When you see the buyers come in, when a short's trying to cover, he's taking offers out. He's not sitting there waiting for people to sell it to him. He'll be waiting for a long time. The trade today, when they put up the 90,000 shares at 470, when he put it up at 470, that was a prearranged trade. Someone was selling it to it. And I told you the shorts were washing trades right there. So that was 90,000. Was it the real short told to go bid 470? We'll sell it to you. Either way, he lost himself, $5, $4 a share on 100,000 shares. All right, it's impossible to stay short that number. GameStop. I went back and looked up, down. I didn't save it. I went back and looked at the data. If you go back on Yahoo, you can see. Go back to that day. It was 3 3/4, 4, went up to 4.75, back down, up, down, and then it started to move, just like we're moving. Eventually, the short's going to bust, and it's going to explode. Anyone, if you go read that report on, it talks about Finger Motion becoming the data company. No one's following it. It's a great opportunity. You need to go read it for yourself. Okay, I will make some calls tonight to Asia. I have to wait till they get up. I have some friends in Hong Kong and asking if they're hearing anything out of China. Obviously, Finger Motion's got its fingers in a lot of things there. There's people on the ground that work. Some of these people in Hong Kong, I assume, know people who work for the company, whether it's a cousin or a friend, I don't know. And we try to get information that way. That's the best I can do. The chart tells you it was an 80% buy yesterday. Today, William, we're 88% buy. Just like GBUX, William, was 100% buy. Remember, it was the strongest I posted every
bar
day.
chart. Yeah, bar chart.
It went up every day until they finally couldn't stand it anymore, and they could short it straight down for 26 days. Even after the 26-day attack on GBUX, the stock turned today, and it's still a 40% buy. That tells you the accumulation by people is outstanding, because that stock was destroyed by naked short sellers, and it's bouncing back fast. All right, so again, all that attacks, 28 days, the stock almost hit 4 today. Thursday's the last day to own the stock for the 10% special dividend. So, I can't tell you what to do. I bought a little bit more. That's all the money I had. I put it in. Friends of mine were buying it. Another shareholder told me his family office, consisting of a couple of $1 billion, is buying Finger. I told you about that early today. There are whales buying the stock. That's the only thing I can tell you guys. You don't see it because they don't walk out there with a sign, and they buy stock. And you see all of a sudden guys bidding and they get hit. These are these guys. They throw out 10s and 20s. And just think about it. I just want you to understand that. To buy 1 million shares of the stock in this big volume days, if you buy 100 a day, after a week, William, you got 500,000 shares.
Right.
People think that people want to see those big bids come pushing it and go run them over. These guys are here to accumulate. And the accumulation, as you can see, always leads to higher prices. The stock has been slowly moving up. All right? If you want to see dollars and go like that, these guys are accumulated because the short's going to give up. They can't keep selling it down because they see the buyers there. All right? Once they stop and it starts to move up, they get the margin calls. So I always tell you, it's like those Chinese handcuffs. These guys, if they push it down, they're selling more shares for less money. If it goes up, they have a margin problem and they can't stay. So they're basically in a trap. And time has gone on. Don't get me wrong. People go, well, you said this 2 years ago. Well, it's not easy to do. We're fighting a system that has no regulators. The truck, which William was part of out there, was in the lobby of the SEC. Couldn't get any closer. And William, I have to tell you that I spoke to an attorney also today, and he saw the photos on Twitter. Someone introduced me to him. And he said, you don't know how powerful that is to have that proof that you tried to whistleblow. Because I'm trying to get us to whistleblow money, William. And he said, you don't understand how powerful that is. You have recordings of it, you have posted it, you've done everything. You basically were screaming for help and the police never came. All right? We embarrassed the chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler, who walked right past the truck. We embarrassed Graywall, head of enforcement. We used his words. And what did he do? He quit. He ran away. Imagine that. The head of enforcement quit the SEC. He ran away. That was like last year he did that. After his bold statement, I'm here to enforce and stop the fraud against the investment public. Nice job, Graywall. So these guys, we use their words against them. We expose them. We have a great case. We have the President of the United States is seeing the stuff. Everyone knows about it. And you tell me that these guys are going to get away with it in finger motion? Not a prayer. No one's made more noise than we have in finger motion. Now, I know we got some new investors that I don't know. People that came over from GameStop. People, if you're jumping in and you think you're just going to light a candle and an algorithm's going to go and the stock's going to run 50 in one day, it doesn't happen like that. It may run tomorrow. I can't tell you when. It's going to run. I can't give you the second. We're trying to time it. William, the old saying, timing is everything, right? We always say that, right?
Timing.
Yeah, timing is everything. But we just don't have that second when it's going to go. I think we're as close as you can get. I think we're right at the door, and I think it's ready to go. So I just wanted to let you know about the hedge funds that I spoke with tonight. That's why I wanted to speak to you tonight. Do you have any questions? Does anyone have a question? Is there anybody here?
There's people here listening to you. The question is...
What?
I'm buying more G-Bucks tomorrow. That's not really a question.
Well, I have no problem with that. I think it's a good place to be. I think that just to recap that, we got a call in December. I was on William's phone call. I told everybody I bought it at 75 cents in the dollar, right?
Yeah.
It ran to 10. The call's coming out of Goldman Sachs. So the people that are involved, I'm not saying they're Goldman Sachs, they're people with relationships to Goldman Sachs, whatever it be. I don't have the contact there. And they said this is going to be a big stock in 2025. That's all I know. I bought it. I went to 10. I didn't sell it. It pulled back. It went to 10 again. I didn't sell it. So I'm sitting here waiting for the final hurrah. There's 4 million shares short. There's hardly any flow. I heard the CEO is going to retire all his shares soon. That's what I heard. All right. So this flow, or the number of shares is going to drastically just disappear one day. Okay. So I think that's going to be a big catalyst. And I think that whenever it comes, it comes. I don't know when it's going to come. So I think these guys have a plan, and I'm just sitting back watching it. I'm in charge of my friend who passed away with his widow. He told me to stay put, and that's what before he passed away, I'm doing what he told me to do, and I'll make that determination. I think this stock has a target between 100 and 150 bucks. You can see how fast it runs back up once these guys turn and have to go buy it. It's going to be brutal. All right. So again, and whatever they're short 4 million shares, they're going to be short 10% more, which is another 400,000 shares. All right. So these guys are selling 30 a day. Imagine just waking up the next day and you're short 400,000 more. That's what they're facing here. I think the attack down was trying to get people to bail, and it just brought in more buyers. So, I mean, that's my information on that one. That's all I know. I don't watch it daily. I'm there. I watched it at the end of the day today only because I bought some stock and I was watching it. But you know the story on that. And again, finger motion is the one I really follow. The short people, when I speak, I'm telling you what I really feel. This is the number one short squeeze stock. I reached out to Pat Byrne today, and I posted the picture of the truck making fun of the SEC. And I told him with him on Twitter, I said, Pat, you never did any crazy shit like this, crazier than us. And he laughed, and then he came back. He said, I'm coming back, and he's going to step into the fight. He's going to come back. I'm going to have a call with him. I have Busy Brands reaching out to him to set up a call. When Pat lands, we'll do a call. Pat is very close in the Trump administration, and, he's helped fight this election fraud. Pat did all the technology to expose all the election fraud. So Pat Byrne will come back, and the one thing he hated in life is the naked shorts. And if you want to watch the deep caption movie, I'll repost it. You can watch it and learn a little bit about Pat Byrne and the fight. Pat Byrne came into the fight 3 years after I was already here. All right, so again, Pat Byrne he's brilliant. His father owned Geico. His father sold it to Warren Buffett. Pat Byrne's family has deep pockets. My father was a garbage man. My mother was a secretary. So when Pat Byrne came into it, he brought Wall Street Journal reporters with him. He had a team of technology people, and they did a lot of work, and they did a lot of great videos because he had the people surrounding him. I didn't have that. All right, so Pat Byrne took the lead because he was more powerful and he had the money to back it. When I raised the money for the truck, I have to do bang a drum at Grand Central Station to try to raise some money to do this stuff. I just can't be throwing $3,000 out the window every week. All right, and I did my best, and I tried, and we did it. All right, a lot of people have kicked in, a lot of people helped out. But it's a little different when you have powerful, when you have a deep pocket guy with us. We never had the deep pocket guy. Pat Byrne was it. So it's great that he's coming back, and I think you guys should all be excited about it because he will expose this. And I know Pat Byrne. All right? I have his personal number. I can call him up. I'm waiting for him to come back in. I don't like to bother him because he's, he wasn't feeling well. I guess he's had his treatment, whatever it is. He's coming back. But he always said he wanted to do one thing, end the Wall Street fraud. So he has the person he wanted in office. He's here. He's going to come back, and we're going to get complete details on what's going on because Pat Byrne is the first guy to tell us what's going on. I'm super excited about that. So if that's 5 days away and it goes past your option day, you can't cry. We're doing our best. I think the stock is going to try to go to 615 tomorrow. And if you're long, I hope you make a fortune. If it just goes, it goes. All right, but these are options. I told you before, they were throwaways. And I know some people have said, I want my options to go, but I can't fight this fight worrying about someone bought 20 calls at 20 cents and I have to get you out of them. It's not my job. I'm doing my best to help them work for you. I told everyone every day, if you bought options, flip them, get cheaper ones, get them for free. I said that because we can't control what happens with options. Timing is the most important thing. We have 2 days. 2 days, it's an eternity in options. So please, it's not over yet. Don't think like that. Don't be a Debbie Downer. All right, I always tell you the story when I got crushed and I had no money left. I used a credit card and I bought, 1,000 calls in USX. I can't remember how many I bought. I bought the 30s at 30 cents. I used every dollar. I bought options with my credit card. And I had heard Call Icon was going to do something. I had 2 weeks to go. I bought the 30s at 30 cents. I think I bought $40,000 worth of calls. I forgot how much money I bought. And nothing happened. On Friday, the stock was $28.50 to $29 like that. I had the 30s. Nothing really happened. 10 to 4. My options was 0. Call Icon came out and he bought 30 million shares and took it to $32 or $33. I wound up making $225,000. with 1 minute to go in the day. He took it up. It went to $32 or $33. All right. So again, I was on death's row. I just let it go, and I sold my options. I think I sold them at $2.5 and $3. So you never know, and that was my scare. I did it on credit cards. I didn't cry to anybody. I did it for a reason, and I sat with it. I couldn't call anybody. I didn't know anything more than I knew what I just told you, and it worked. That's how Wall Street is. It's wild. But options will get you a chance to come back. I sold it, bought a brand new Mercedes, and I had some pocket change to keep trading, and I started trading again and made it all back again. That's how it goes. All right, I hope it goes tomorrow for you. I told you I'm giving it the college try. We're going to try to push it to 6:15 tomorrow. So if it starts running, that's as high as we're going to go pay, 6:15. So I don't know where it's going to be, but people I'm talking to were saying using a 6:15 top. The other day I told you we're using I forget the top. I put 375, then we changed it to 4.25. And where'd the stock go? It went higher than both those numbers, right? We got it almost to 5. So tomorrow we're going to use a 6:15 top. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's only we're at 450, so you're talking about $1.50, $1.60 up. So if we push it and they panic, let's see what happens. But that's what we're using, a 6:15 top. I hope to have the 3 hedge funds that we just spoke with. I'll have a bunch of calls in the morning with some people that have very powerful friends and see if I can muster up and get another 1 million shares to buy. It's a 6:15 top. People, I know you think we're crazy. I know retail investors only have a certain amount of money. So when we call up and I say we're going to find 1 million shares to buy, I'll call up Tony at this place. He'll come back. I got a guy to buy 75. I call up a broker at this place. My cousin, he works at this hedge fund. He'll buy 50 or 100. And, in 10 calls, you can get 1 million shares. But you have to work and make the phone calls. That's what Wall Street's about, making phone calls. Take a shot, take a shot, take a shot, take a shot. And they all do. Excuse me, based on my history, they know I was an institutional broker. I could tell the story, show them the upside, and they take a shot. That's what it's about. You take a shot on an Apple computer when they come out with new technology or NVIDIA on the new chip or Tesla's new car. So we're taking a shot on a short squeeze. A little different. But you know what? You have to make the calls, and that's what we do. So again, I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just telling you what we're doing. If you see it, you want to get out, you get out. You want to stay, you stay. Who knows what lies ahead? It could break 5.5, and it just all hell will break loose, and tomorrow it could be $55. I do not know. We're not here for a stock to go up $1. Get that in your head. I said that at $1. I'll set it at 2. I'll set it at 3. I'll set it at 4 or 5, whatever number it is. I'm looking for this thing to go to 3,000. Okay, I'm not here to look for a stock to go up $1. You can get off whatever you want. You can say these fucking guys are crazy. You can say whatever you like. I could care less. I picked GameStop. I sold it as high as 118, and I fucked that up. I should have held on and let it go. But I learned my lesson. Now I know how high these things can go. All right, we all seen it. Once Wall Street hedge funds start coming, and again, I keep trying to tell you, in this stock, these guys have been trying to hold it down so much. Wait, what's that term you use in a balloon in the pool? What is it? What is that? What do you say about that?
I don't know what the term was.
But you said you hold the balloon underwater.
Yeah. And
Well, that's what these guys have been trying to do. They've been trying to hold this big balloon underwater.
I don't know if there's a term for that.
Right, Patrick Byrne used a different term. He says once they take their foot off the landmine, it's going to blow. So these guys are holding it down. Once they lift their foot, they're going to get blown up. That's how he defines it. Pat Byrne always had a witty way of giving us an example of that. Yours was the balloon. His was the landmine. I forget what the hell mine is. But again, everyone understands it. The world understands it. People text me from all over the place. I have a good group of Chinese guys in the UK who left Hong Kong with him. Okay. They got great connections back into Hong Kong to China. So my guys there are always buying the stock. They know what it's about. And they report back to me when they hear things in China and Asia. They're hearing there's big deals going on. When does it happen? They don't know, but they hear big things are going on. So what's the rush to sell? I don't see the rush. The only rush here is people have bought options and they're concerned about it. I got it. All right. The shorts pushing it down make no money off these calls. You guys think they make a lot of money. They really don't. They're 30-cent options. You know, they make it 30, 40, 50, $100,000. That's it. Go look at a Tesla option. Excuse me. A Tesla option that's, you know, $15 above the market, and they're $10. That's real money. Stocks that options that are 30 cents or $30 are very different than $1,000 call. I mean, it's very, very different. So please, those are big options. They make a lot of money doing that. And this stock, the option money is really garbage. The sevens are 20 cents, 30 cents, 30 cents, 30 cents. And people are flipping them. People are buying them and selling them. All right. So, you know, don't think that the market makers are making a lot of money here. This guy's destroyed himself. We got him good. Options went from a nickel to $3, nickel to $2, a nickel to I think $1. The fives went to the fours went to $1 or something like that. The fives were 50 cents. The sixes are 30 cents. These were nickel options. You know, so again, is the market maker trying to cover them back? I think he is. All right, so he's trying to buy back his calls, but he has a lot more to go because people have rolled up and protected themselves and have bigger positions now for free. And now he's playing with a dangerous crowd when people are playing for free. They don't want to give back those calls right away. So the market maker is sitting there looking for people to sell, and no one's giving them back to him. You know, it's a dangerous game for him because the only way he can protect himself is what? He has to go out and buy the stock. All right. So at any given time, this guy's got 5 million, 6 million shares he has to buy. If he's taking the bet, just like you're taking the bet. He thinks the stock is going to drift back. We think it's going to go up. Who's going to flinch first? If he flinches and starts panicking, there's 5 million to buy, 6 million to buy. If the real short panics, he's got 3.1 million to buy. So there's a lot of things that are sitting here that are ready to explode. And trust me, the short sellers know. They know the DOJ is coming down on people. They know this, they know that. They're not stupid. They just can't get out of it. They're trying to do the best they can because if they do get blown up, they're going to jail. So that's what they're facing. Any other questions, William?
Is it possible that longs with large stock are lending out shares?
Absolutely not.
Why hasn't it spiked to 10 or 15 or 25 by now?
Because they know that you're nervous. Whoever's asking that question, they're waiting for you to faint. That's what they're doing. How do we know? This is a game that you got to remember. We're fighting against the short, against 10-to-1 leverage. All right, on the short side, and we have no regulatory agency protecting us. That's why it hasn't spiked. What we've done is massive. Okay. As a force, as a retail force, we have done an unbelievable job just to get these guys to the brink of getting wiped out. How has the SEC not done anything? We put the truck in the goddamn lobby of the place. Oh, you know, these bashes that pop up. We call the police. They don't call the police. They can't call. When are they going to call the police? Hey, we shorted 260 million shares. Can you help us? We did it by mistake. You know? These guys are trapped, you know, and the more we keep the pressure on them, the better it is. That's it. And we're close. You saw today, it almost broke almost to $6 pre-market today, right? 5.25. Someone's got 5.5. We're not making it up. Look how fast it can jump. Once it jumps and it goes, you're going to start seeing the panic like you've never seen before. You've seen it before, but no, most people weren't in it. And most people in this stock now are come to ease with these swings. We all know about it now.
This is an interesting question because I would go, knowing what I know, you know more than I do. But if G-Bucks doesn't make a move by, let's say, Monday, should he sell it and buy Finger? And my question, I have the question, wouldn't the deal that they're working on, wouldn't they want to get it done by tomorrow for that ex-dividend date?
You know what? There's corporate lawyers. That's all I can tell you. That's all I know.
That's all you have to say.
I mean, there's nothing more to say. The lawyers drag their feet. They get, I heard the deal was close to getting done, and they're waiting for the lawyers. What am I going to say? Hurry up? What am I going to say? Hurry up? There's no option. So what's the difference? They get if you buy the stock, you're going to get a special dividend. So tomorrow, anyone who's long will get the records will be closed, and they'll know exactly how many shorts there are. We got, 4 million extra people. Well, that means you got 4 million shorts. Whatever the number is going to be, they'll know.
Yeah.
I can't call companies, hurry up, get your lawyers, move it along. But you've been in contracts with people, you know what it's like. You give it to a lawyer. Oh, I got to red line it. They send it over. You don't like it. You send it back. Your lawyer has to, it goes back and forth. That's how it works.
Lawyers are incredible.
Martin said it many times because we hand stuff to our lawyers when we were at dinner with them. He said that. We hand stuff to lawyers. It just takes time. And we're like, hurry up, Martin, get something out. You got to do this. The shorts are attacking. They can't. Companies are not going to put statements out because the stock went down a quarter. They don't do it like that. They just don't do it. If they do anything wrong, the SEC will be on them and accuse them of fraud. They don't want to do that. No one wants that. No one wants to work 5 years to put out a fake statement and get in trouble for it. No one wants to do that. And you know what? And the more the people understand that, the better you'll be an investor in the stock market.
Why don't the prime brokers just stop lending out shares in Finger if they're aware?
I think they're making it up. How does it go from 2,000 to no to 50,000 to 20,000 to 30,000? It doesn't even make any sense.
Maybe it's the F4 button right next to the F3 button.
Yeah, who knows what it is? I told you, stop loan. I'm going to find a Pat Byrne video where he calls it 75% of Goldman Sachs' money lending out shares. Obviously, they're lending out shares that don't even exist. How would you like to get 230%, whatever the rate is, on, let's say 500,000 shares that they made up? No one's checking.
Yeah.
So let's say on Finger Motion, in a year's time, lending out shares, they make $300,000. All right, all the rates are paid, they get $300,000. Did they actually lend a share? No one knows. No one's checking on it. Right? It's total. It's the Wild West. It's like, William, if you put 20,000 shares to lend, they go up. As soon as they take you, someone else jumps in. Only after you lend it out, someone jumps in. Don't you think that's strange?
Yeah.
If you're lending 20, and the next person's going to lend 30, why don't we both have to at the same time? Oh, I'm going to wait for William to do it, then I'm going to put my offer out there, and I want to lend my shares. It doesn't make any sense. I think people who lent shares lent them, and I don't think there's any more people doing it. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion going on that's not full of questions. Mike thinks the G-Bucks dividend pay date is where the shorts will be exposed on G-Bucks.
Of course, that's what the company's doing. They're exposing it with the dividend. They got it done. Finger Motion is doing the dividend, but they had that setback with the auditor, so they had to do their books for 2 years. And the earnings come out what day, William? May 28th. So what's today's date? I don't even know what today's date is.
The 14th.
The 14th. So if you look at the calendar, let's look at the calendar. The 28th, we got 1, 2.
Do you know what the 22nd is?
7, 8, 9. 9 trading days to go.
Do you know what the 22nd is? I think it's the 22nd. That's when Novak Djokovic turns 38.
He's washed up soon.
Yeah, he's washed up.
Anna
Massey says, thank you, Ham.
Who's that?
Anna says, thank you, Ham. I'm so glad you made money, Anna.
She told me she traded.
I was so relieved to find out you made money. It made my day.
Not that she made money. I think she understands the formula to trading options now. I think hopefully people listen, this short squeeze is going to come. We're going to make money, and everyone's going to go about their life again. And you know what? As long as you understand trading options, what you learned here, you can do all the time. It's not like it just has to be here. You may have to do it with different options. You may have to do it with options that are more in the money, because not every stock is expected to go up $1,000 to $2,000. So when you buy an option, the stock is 20, you think it's going to go to 25, you may have to buy the 22s. And when the stock runs up, you sell the 22s, at $1. You make profit, then you can buy the 25s. You can do it in many different names. But it's the same thing all the time. You stick to the pattern, which I just told you, and you always make money. If you want to just roll the dice all the time, you'll win and you'll lose. That's how it goes. The name of the game
some gotta win, some gotta lose.
That's how it goes. I mean, just like I said, but if you hedge, not hedge, but if you take money off the table, reduce your risk. Charlie. Hey, you could buy options at $1, sell them at $1.25, buy them back at $1, sell them at $1.30, buy them back again. And you say, wait a second, I made $1.05 already, flipping these things back and forth. I paid $1. If it goes to 0, I'm still up. No one gets free bets. You're getting free bets here when you do it that way. That's the key.
This is a good question from Gabriel Maldonado. And I would assume it's a guy, but Gabriel or Gabriella. Anyway, Gabriel Maldonado asks, doesn't Finger Motion have a fiduciary duty to at least ask where all these shares are coming from, since they know there's barely anything to borrow?
I sent a message to a big shareholder to get to the IR guy to the company. How the hell did Roth Capital put Anson Fund into the deal?
Because Roth Capital, at least part of Roth Capital, is just like Lind Partners. At least part of it.
Again, how did they let them? I says Finger Motion should be suing Roth Capital for putting someone there that's going to be a convicted criminal that invested in their company. How did they not vet that out? I don't know. I sent that message. I don't know what the company.
Well, there's a flaw, and I think it's your friend Pete from Philly. I think he's the one that first pointed it out that I heard of. But they need to start having disclosure of who does these deals,
right.
And they don't. They have no disclosure.
No. Well, we saw it in a filing, and I'm like, how the hell these guys get in this deal?
Yeah.
So we sent the message back. I'm sure the company's lawyers know about it, and the message was sent back, hey, man, go after Roth Capital and sue these guys. We didn't ask for these guys. You did it. But, they put up their money. Did they do anything? I don't think Anson would do anything out of order, because they're definitely under investigation. I think they're going to be shut down, which is going to be a good thing, because their position is going to be frozen in here. So they can't do anything. So, but it is interesting. But yes, they do. They should be asking questions. But again, everyone here, you have to understand, public companies, if you open your mouth to the regulators, they attack you. That's what happens. So companies are not looking to pay $500,000 to their lawyers to answer stupid questions from the SEC. That's how it works. Elon Musk can do it all day long because he's got a ton of money and he has a battery of lawyers. All companies, Figure Motion just raised $5 million. You think they want to spend $500,000 paying lawyers to address questions from the SEC on why they're talking about naked short selling? Are they manipulating the price of their stock? Blah, 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 right? A lot of companies come out and yell, and you know what? They usually get attacked by the SEC. Now, I think it's changing, but still, I can't blame companies for not saying anything. And William, you told me to drink ginger with my tea.
You're supposed to boil it with lemon and.
That's what I did. I had tea with lemon and ginger in it before.
And then I think you should jump in the pool and stay underwater for 20 minutes. It'll go away.
I feel a lot better. I just got this stupid cough. Excuse me a second. I don't want to hear me spitting out the phlegm. I don't want to hear that. I can't imagine how much phlegm is in my body. I've been spitting and blowing my nose for a week straight.
This guy says theta will eat away overnight, though. I don't even know what theta is. I mean, I guess it's related to beta and delta and gamma.
Right.
And so the theta eats away. It's all a bunch of crap.
Listen, the stock spikes, the options will expand. When the stock stops moving, the premium decreases. That's how it goes.
That's the way love goes. Yeah. So Robert wants to know, can you explain how the naked shorts will finally lose?
Well, they're losing control right now. Listen, the whole game is these guys are selling a lot of shares. We're buying a lot of shares. But as the stock moves up, what's going to stop them? Margin. The stock went up from $1 to $5, right? That's $4 on 260 million shares.
Mm-hmm.
That's $900 million in losses. Now, they already stole that money. It's in an account. So they couldn't take it out. But now all that money that was in the chips and the black for them is now in the red. You can't take the money out until you close out the position.
Well, he understands that for the regular short, but how does the naked get in trouble, is his question.
Well, the back offices have to force settlement. Firms need to get delivered. We buy the stocks. So the firm that represents you needs to do their job. Fidelity's doing their job and figuring out that they got screwed here. Fidelity's looking for delivery and no one's delivering stock. Fidelity says, hey, we can't buy anymore because if we buy more, we're going to get more trouble. So Fidelity's trying to slow it down. There's your answer. All Fidelity has to do is say, hey, someone owes me 10 million shares or 20 million shares. I want delivery of it. Once Fidelity reaches out to the world and says, hey, Morgan Stanley, you sold me 300,000. Deliver me the stock. Morgan's going to sit there. Well, if you don't deliver me the stock by 2:00 tomorrow, I'm buying you in. That's how it ends. Each brokerage firm will be on the hook, all right, individually. That's why the special dividend exposes all the brokerage firms. Go look at the little wheel I put up about GBUX, about the special dividend. That's how you expose them. Musical chairs. Stop the music. Count the shareholders. Every firm has a number. Goldman Sachs can hit a button, or Fidelity can hit a button. In less than 30 seconds, they can know exactly how many shares they own. We own 30 million shares of Finger Motion. They called the depository trust. How many physical shares do you have for us? We got 1 million for you. That means you're short 29 million. That's what that's what they did. And now they know about the problem. That's how it works. All it takes is one person to buy it in. That's it. Because it becomes a chain reaction. And you said to me, so you're telling me all these firms are colluding together? Yes, they are. That's why I keep telling you, dark pools, all that nonsense. If they settle the trades, all that business goes away. It doesn't exist anymore. I have a comedian talking about let me see if I can play it for you, Wayne. Maybe it'll work. My son sent it to me the other day. A comedian from Australia was making fun of the U.S. airline industry on how they overbook flights all the time, and everyone thinks that this is like it's no big deal. Let's see if this is it. Hold on. I don't know if you can hear it.
Nobody can hear it. I don't know if you're there, but nobody can hear it.
I'm sorry, William. Okay, I'll send it to you. I'll post it. I found it where the guy's making fun of the airlines in the U.S. How the world sells tickets. There's 100 seats on the plane. They sell 100 seats. In the U.S., there's 100 seats. We sell 150 tickets and hope the people don't show up. That's what they do. And the comedians making fun of it. They're basically the U.S. airlines naked short seats and hope people don't show up. They overbook the seats all the time. Because I don't understand how's that happening. And the comedians making fun of it. And we've always said that they naked short seats. That's what they do.
At least our dollar bills aren't pink.
Say it again?
At least our dollars aren't pink.
Well, I don't care about that. I'm just trying to get a point across so that you guys can cash out and everybody can go about their lives. That's it. After that, what can I tell you? I'm going to try to post it on Twitter for everybody right now as we're speaking. Naked short airline tickets. I'm putting it up.
Jamal wants to know, should he hold his shares? He bought at the top today. Well, you had a reason to buy. And if you were buying because you thought it was going to keep going up and it didn't, I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't know. I'll let Ham answer it, but I'd be more inclined to buy more. I'd be more inclined to buy more.
Here you go. A naked short attacked the stock down today because they want people like yourself who bought in because they saw the stock going, you saw volume, whatever it was. Something attracted you to it. You jumped in. And they're saying, the naked shorts are saying, let's fuck Jamal here right now. Let's push. He paid $5. Let's drive it down. He'll panic out and he'll lose his 30 cents. And we just make Jamal quit. That's what they try to do. Jamal, they've been doing it to people at $1, $2, $3, $4. They've been doing it forever. All right? Again, if you can afford it, you should stay. If you can't, you're nervous, you should move to the sideline. I think you'll get your opportunity to break even. If you're nervous, you get out. That's what they want you to do. All right, that's the fraud part of this, is they're trying to get you that you got to go home and to your wife and say, oh, honey, I bought 10,000 shares at 5. I'm down 40 cents and down 4,000 and I didn't even pay for the trade yet. That's what they do, Jamal. And they do it to everybody. It's not just you. It happens to everybody.
But only you can decide. I mean, if you were doing it for a trade, a one-day trade, you can get out and take your losses. But I'd be more inclined to buy more. But of course.
Hey, Jamal, you know what? Learn how to do it. You know what you can do, Jamal? You can look at the tomorrow when the stock opens up. Let's say you paid $5 for it, right? You can go out there and sell the June calls against it and sort of hedge your position and wait till the end of June to see what happens. You hedge it and he'll take some of the money back, or you'll make some of your money back selling options.
I think you can sell the Friday calls, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
well, I'm just saying. Well, if you can, if you could sell the twos at $3, that locks you into $5, right?
Yeah, and you get out
If you
flat.
could sell next month's call, I don't know what the threes are, whatever it is, you can find the strength.
If you have a
right?
change in heart on your trade, which is you can do, Ham's right. You could probably sell. There's enough premium there. There's some theta. I wonder what they call speculative premiums. Sigma? I don't know. Anyway.
Listen, anybody's using those terms, you're wasting your breath. Option trading is about your gut. And everyone who learned reading books is about numbers. You have to memorize numbers and do what you have to do. That's all those other stuff is nonsense. Yeah, you can look at the calls. You can look at the, for example, no, that won't cover you. The 275s. The June in the money calls came in. It's pretty wild. The $2 calls for June are 275. That makes it 475. So the premium doesn't exist. There's no premium. The $3 calls are $1.90. So that's again $4.90. The $4 calls for June are $1.45. So if you sold it, that's $5.45. At 4 plus $1.45 is $5.45.
I think they call that.
If you were to sell those to hedge, that means you're selling your stock. If it goes, the most you can make is you go to $5.45. That's it. You make 45 cents.
I think they call that premium structure backwardization, at least in futures. I think they do, where you have a lot of premiums up front, but in the future you don't. You have.
I'll give you an example, William. The May $2 calls are offered at $2.80. Okay. The June $2 calls are offered at $2.75. They're 5 cents lower than the Mays. Talk about people, when you buy options, you got to look at these. The discrepancies are pretty wild sometimes.
To me, that means maybe that they're going to try to wrap the May calls around a number, and it might not be one we like. Maybe $5, maybe, who knows? It can always change. Theta, I think theta, they use theta because it starts with T and time starts with T. There's just by definition, when you're buying calls, there's a premium for the amount of time left in the contract. So it's called time premium. And this is just a way to confuse you with language. It's just logical. If you buy something that expires in a month, you have to pay for that month. And it's time premium. The other premium that comes in is speculative premium. And sometimes they morph those and they say the time is equal to the speculative, but that's not always true. Sometimes, as the case is with Finger, there's a speculative premium for a potential squeeze. That's different. I don't know if they call that sigma because it starts with S, but you don't need all those Greek letters to just confuse everything. It's just time premium and speculative premium.
Let me just show you what I mean by valuable options. Tesla closed at 347. The Tesla 350 calls for this week are $7.
Sell them.
The 352s at $5.80. The 355s at $5. The 357s at $4. The 360s at $3.60.
Sell them.
I'm just saying that, people, that is premium. The stock is $347. You have to go up $13 to get the 360. Just to get to 360, then you pay 360. So you need 13 plus 360. You need another 1660 to break even before you make any money.
So James, volatility does affect theta, but it's really affecting the speculative premium, and it just becomes a nightmare of theory. Time is steady. So the time premium is going to be a certain amount of the premium, and it's going to decline steadily. The volatility brings in a measure of hope, fear, and greed. And the volatility implies that some people out there thinks there's something good is going to happen. To me, that's speculative premium, not time premium. But it doesn't matter. It's just words. It's just to confuse everybody. Just words. And it's so they can sit there and charge you 2%, 20%. And on commodities funds, they can add in commissions.
Listen, just watch Tesla tomorrow. Look at the options, jot it down. Take a snapshot on your phone of the options, 350 and higher, and see what happens. If Tesla ticks down, all those premiums will boom. You'll see them crash tomorrow.
All right. So
if Tesla goes down $3 tomorrow on the opening, all the options you're talking about will get crushed. And then it's just a matter of when they're going to come back again. It's like a wave. It goes in, it goes out, it goes up and down. That's how it goes.
Mika has a question. I answered yesterday this same question, and I actually don't know if I was correct or any use at all, but I'll ask you. He paid 15 cents a call. He owns 500 of the May 16 $6 calls.
Okay.
What should he do?
What should he do? So he owns 500 of the May 6 calls.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He paid 15 cents. What was the high on him today?
I don't know.
Whatever it was.
I'm signed out. I can't tell.
I say 35.40. I say 40 cents. That was probably the high. I can't see the high.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at it this way. If you sold, 200 of the 500 you had at 40 cents. 500 times 15 is what? What'd you put up, $6,000?
Yeah.
Right? If you sold 200 at 40 cents, you would have brought back 8,000. That means you would have been plus 2,000 and still had 300 calls. Do I need to say any more?
What does he do tomorrow?
I can't tell till the stock opens up. If you sold 200 at 30 cents tomorrow, you bring in $6,000, right?
Sell 250 at 30 cents and you have a little bit of profit. You still have 250.
Right.
I think you could sell the 7s against the 6s and bring in some money. But then
you could sell the 7s at the 7s this morning with 25 cents. Listen, imagine you sold, let me just tell you about a spread. You own 500 of the 6s at 15 cents. How about if you sold 500 of the 7s to open, at a quarter? That means the most you're going to make is $1, and the most you're going to lose is nothing because you're going to have 10 cents more in your pocket. You paid 15, you sold at 25, so you got $10 times 500 times, right, in your pocket, and you have a spread between 6 and 7. If the stock goes to $1 billion, the most you're going to make is $1. The most you're going to lose is nothing. You're going to be profitable by $10 a contract. You can always do that. You bought the 5s, you bought the 6s, you sold the 7s. So the most you can make is 6 to 7 at $1.
So let me ask you this question. If he goes flat like that, locks it in, and he wants to have some exposure to the upside, and he goes out and buys the Junes. Would you buy the Junes this week, or would you take the risk to wait until Monday to buy the Junes?
I wait till Monday.
Yeah, see, that's what I said too. Yeah. Your theta will go down, and maybe your sigma as well, and maybe other things will go down.
Listen, options, when the weekend comes, options always lose premium on a weekend. I don't know why, but that's what happens.
If I buy G-Bucks tomorrow, will I still get the dividend?
You have to own it for tomorrow, the end of the day.
So do you have to do same day settlement, or is
you buy it tomorrow. Shareholders of record of tomorrow. So if you buy it tomorrow, you'll own it.
Is it now same day settlement?
Yeah, they basically on this stuff, it's just same day. They have no problem with that. You're not taking money out. You're just looking. You're not trading it. You're going to be a shareholder of record as of tomorrow. Excuse me. The distribution's May 21st. Excuse me.
Oh, it's May 21st. And the record, when's the record date?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I think if you buy it tomorrow, to be safe, you should put it in same day settlement. You should say, when you put your ticket in, call it in and tell your trader that you want same day settlement.
Just to play safe.
What's more important, the cost? Let's see, the cost of the share price increasing or the time that they need to pay the money? And at what percent is the margin called? You mean what's causing them more pain, more difficulty? I think
every day, the naked short, the real short, and the option short are losing money. They're paying fees to keep these positions open. All right, they lose money every day. So this is costing them money every day, and that means if they have a possibility to make $3 a share, tomorrow it's going to be $2.90 a share because they're paying out those fees. It's like anybody else. You open up a store, you got to turn the lights on, you got to pay the employees, you lose money without even making a sale, right? That's how it is on Wall Street. Nothing is free. The brokerage firms eat you alive. Their prime brokers eat you alive. Prime brokers make money because they take and charge you fees all day long. That's why.
Chummed is, if that's your name, I think the thing that is the most urgent, the most scary for the shorts is the price. And as the price feeds on itself, going up and up and up, they don't want to wait. They don't want to, the prime broker doesn't want to wait. They don't want to hear excuses. They want to solve the problem. And we haven't seen that yet in anything we've been in, but at some point, the decision goes away from the sales side, the commission side, the revenue side of the firm, to the lawyers, to the compliance, to the risk side. And when she says buy it in, she means it. She says buy it in. I don't care what price you pay. We want this off our desk.
That is correct. Once they give you the hammer, it's over with.
We haven't seen it yet, so it's hard to explain it.
I think the shorts are very concerned about the regulatory side. Trump is being super quiet here. Something's going on. All right, so these guys, they're shitting their pants. Trust me. I know hedge funds, and they know what they say. They stay away from GameStop. They want nothing to do with it anymore. No matter what they say, they don't go around it anymore. All right, no, retail keeps pushing it. The apes keep pushing it. But guys that are short, they don't play that game anymore. They moved away from it. The guys that are short these other names, there's a lot of stocks that have been popping. That guy, BAM Investor, said what he's seeing in his computer algorithms, and he's a pretty smart guy, he sees a lot of forest fires. The little fires are starting to burn. What happens? One flares up, another one's starting to flare up, and the shorts are sitting here. They don't know when their fire is going to get burst out of control. They're losing control. I'm telling you, they're losing control. You don't see it because you're not in all the names, but there's plenty of stuff popping every day. And guys are getting their asses kicked all over the place. I think the regulators are clamping down on it. Let me tell you something. Finger motion would have never got off the mat back up to 5 if it was last year. These guys just keep selling and they don't even stop. They let this thing to lift. They let it lift. They didn't let it lift because they're our friends. They let it lift because they can't stop it. The regulators, something is going on.
Well, it also could be, I bought a book on repos and all that, but when I opened it, it was all on how to live your best life. Someone cheated me. But I don't know how exactly it works, but the liquidity might not be there for these
guys
prime
are losing
brokers.
money other places. Listen, there's people that that factor or lend money to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the prime brokers. The prime broker could be funding 100 traders or hedge funds, giving them 10-to-1 leverage.
Mm-hmm.
The shorts in finger motion, they're not Goldman Sachs type guys. So they go down the rope and say, okay, who are we going to cut back on? Well, Jeff Easton and these bandit gypsies, cut them back. Hey, guys, you're not getting 10-to-1 anymore. You're getting 4-to-1. They're going to say, well, we can't do this. Well, you can't keep doing this anymore unless you put up more money. They're not going. No one's going to keep putting up money. Who's going to put money up in finger motion if you're short? Oh, let me put another $20 million in the pile. But at any second, the stock goes up. Remember, each dollar it goes up, they lose $260 million. So when they push it down from 5 to Jamal, when they push it down from 5 to 450, 50 cents, they save them $130 million in a mark. That's why you see these push downs late in the day. They need to save their ass so they have to put up money. I'm a firm believer if I was short, let it go higher. I used to cover shorts, and they always wanted the stocks higher because they were real shorts. These guys short a ton of it and then try to manipulate it down. Jamal, that's what they did to you today.
There's also, on the macro level, a lot of hedge funds and other traders went short the overall markets. And believe it or not, the other day, the market went green I think for the year, but certainly since Trump had the tariff thing. So a lot of the shorts in all the stocks are in trouble. So it might just be,
listen,
they're calling in their chips.
The big shorts get hurt first.
Yeah.
And that spreads down to the smaller shorts because the big shorts could be funding these little shorts. And if they're losing money in Costco and these other names that they play, listen, it was known Stevie Cohen was funding naked short sellers. Traders would come in, he'd give them a book of $50 million. He didn't ask him what they were doing. And he would get 60% of the profits, and that's what he got busted for not overseeing what his little pirates
I'm
were
sure
doing.
he doesn't do it anymore.
No, they stopped. He shut down. Are you crazy? They don't do it anymore. He got busted already.
Oh, yeah. I bet it stops him.
That stops everything cold. Everything stops. And I'm telling you, a lot of these guys have stopped. You're getting what we have is a renegade. Jeff Easton and his offshore buddies are a renegade. All right, that's who type of people doing this stuff. Everyone else, the big players that were looting. Listen, I firmly believe that Carl Icahn owned Ladenburg Thalmann, which was a brokerage firm many years ago.
Yeah, I remember it.
And everybody always said they were naked shorting out of that place. So Carl Icahn was part of that. He owned it. You know they were doing it. How do these guys go from doing nothing to running billions of dollars? I'm a pretty good trader. I can't get that high. It would take me 900 years to get there.
You know, back when Finger retired the note with Lynn Partners, was that your investor?
Yep. When
was it?
I don't know, but he paid $10 for it. When the stock was 10.
Yeah. When it was 10.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, so my friends own the stock higher, and they've not sold. I told you I spoke with a guy today, and this is something to get around your head, Jamal. I'm only speaking to you because I know you're a little upset. My friend who owns millions of shares, he said to me, where's all these shares coming from? I had to bang my head against the wall. I've been telling this guy the story for years. He couldn't figure out where all this. I said, they're counterfeit. He goes, there's so much supply. I said, they're counterfeits. I called the Secret Service up and tell them you're going to start making $100 bills on your copy machine. See how fast they come and get you. That's what these guys are doing. And he didn't understand it. So I want people to understand it. They're selling you a counterfeit share, an IOU that is basically, if you ever demand it, there's nothing there. How do you demand it? You got to give a dividend. That's how it works.
The G-Bucks naked shorts have to pay the dividend, correct? Yes, that's correct.
So by shorting it, the G-Bucks naked short, what's going to happen is Fidelity is going to say they own 2 million shares. They're going to get 10% of that 200,000 shares, say. They're going to have to give it to everybody. They're going to look and say, okay, whoever sold me the stock, hey, man, you owe me the dividend. And they're not going to have it. So Fidelity's going to have to, what are they going to do? They're going to have to go out and chase this guy down to get the dividend for everybody. So Fidelity's going to get stuck on the hook here because they can't just journal entry it into everybody because it involves the company in the conversion. They don't want to lose the money. So they're going to have to chase down the short seller. That's how it's going to work. And the brokerage firms are now going to be taking the liability of the short seller. That's how it works. And remember, if you want to get anybody in trouble, do you want to get some guy who's flat broke, who's going to hide his money, or do you want to get E-Trade and Fidelity on the hook, William? Who would you like to get on the hook? The guy who's broke or Fidelity? Always go for the deep pocket, right?
I think a tuna. I'd like to get a tuna on the hook.
Well, listen, everybody, I'm beat. My voice is losing.
What's guaranteed delivery? Do you know anything about that?
Excuse me, what was the question?
Please ask about the issue of guaranteed delivery.
You can't do it. Hedge funds can do it. You could buy a stock and say, I want guaranteed delivery. But hedge funds have to do that. You can't do it.
Okay.
A retail broker, you have, E-Trade won't even pick up your phone. You're going to tell them you want guaranteed delivery, they'll hang up on you. We used to do that with, big board stocks or big stocks. I would call up and say, I got to buy 100,000. I need guaranteed delivery. And they say, okay, that means the stock would be delivered tomorrow and we pay you the money. Other people do guaranteed delivery, when they want to capture a dividend, William, something like that.
My incessant tapping is being picked up by the mic. I didn't know I was tapping, so I'll try to.
Listen, it's 9:18. I started. I wanted to do an hour. Did an hour 18. I'm losing my voice again. I got to go relax. But I'll see you tomorrow. And Jamal, if you reach out on Twitter and reach to me in the morning, I can sort of see if I can help you out here. All right?
All right. How about the guy with the 500 calls? Maybe Mika.
Yeah, just reach out on Twitter. If I open it up, I can't do anything till 9:30 with the calls. I can't, Yeah. What I would tell you to do is, if you want to do something, put your order in tonight. You can put it in right now. Sell 100 of you have the sixes. You pay 15 cents. Sell 50 at 30 cents, put 50 at 35 cents, or put 50 at 40 cents. If the stock pops up to 5, all those 3 options will be sold. You understand? But you got to put it out tonight. Put the order in tonight before you go to bed. Good till cancel. Put it out there. If the stock pops, all those options will be traded. Right? Don't put it in there after the stock already pops because you won't be able to sell them. All right? So put it out there tonight. Put it in or before the morning when you first wake up in the morning. Put it in. 35, put it out 30, 35, 40. If you sold 50, 50, 50, you'll sell 150. Your average would be 35 cents. You paid 15. You make 20 cents times 300 times, 150 times. So you make $4,000 back, whatever, $5,000 back. You put up 6, you got back 5. That's a pretty good trade. And you still have, 200 to 350 left, whatever it is. Correct, William? Did I do the math quick enough for you?
You did it right. I also would go ahead and try to sell the 7s against it, but
you can do anything. I mean, but you got to wait. We can't do anything. Options don't open till 9:30. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I can give you, but I would tell you that at 9:30, you better have an option order in because they open up. If the market maker sees the stock running, he will reach and grab your calls. So you got to make sure you put him out there.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. You got to have them in beforehand.
You got to have them in there. Just like you do it a good till cancel in stocks, you can do it in options. You can put it out there. Yeah. But having it in before the opening is super important.
Yeah.
Because everyone likes to sit there and watch. Oh, it's going. I'm going to go sell some calls. It pops, it goes down, and you don't make a sale. How did they trade up to 60 cents? Oh, I should have put a call. I should have put them out there for sale. Well, if you don't put them out there, you can't sell them. I always told you that.
Plus, in the morning, that's when the buyers are probably going to buy. So
that's when the buyers are going to buy. So maybe we pop the 5.5 real quick. Yeah. You can get all those options done. It won't be the price that you would want. Maybe there's a buyer comes in and the stock gaps 5.5, let's say opens at 6. You may not, you put them out there 30, 35, and 40 cents. They may give you 60 cents on the option trade because that's the opening trade. So you put them out there. You're not going to get lower. You can only get higher. You can get your price or higher. That's it.
And
but if you don't have it in, you can't sell them.
If they fill you at the opening, which they don't always do if the bid ask isn't anywhere near your price, but if they fill it at the opening, they have to give you the best price if it's better than your.
Right. Sometimes some guy comes in, wants to buy 300 calls. You're 150 of them. Say, okay, we'll do it all at 60 cents. And that's when they put you up at 60 cents. But if you don't put it in, you can't make the sale. Make sure you put it in. Pick any stupid numbers. Put it in. But do it in the morning. This way you have it done. All right, everybody. I'm done. I had a long day.
All right.
Have a great night. Thank you, William.
Your incessant tapping is being picked up by the mic, and it's loud. I'm sorry about my incessant tapping. I didn't know. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't realize I was annoying everybody. Wasn't on purpose. So there's a lot of shills here today, so I think they're in trouble, but they also could be here trying to take money from you. I think that the reason there's more premium in the May calls than the June is that's where the action is. And one reason that might be is us and buying and selling, and they may get brutal and try to close the stock. I don't know. I'm making it up at $4 and take all that premium away, but they could close it at $6 and take all the premium away on Friday, and they'll come up with something to try to take as much premium away as possible. So somebody else was asking about GTII. I didn't ask that idiotic question to him because it's just a waste of time. Now, let me just quickly, to that jerk, point out, I'll show you on a chart. Your incessant clicking on your phone is coming through the microphone. Please stop incessantly clicking on your phone. All right, so this isn't going to work anymore. I don't think this is going to work anymore. Oh, maybe it does. Not really. It's a screwy chart because of how it's been trading. But I can just show you GTII. It doesn't show up as strongly because of all these trades here. It interferes with the magnitude. But right there, GTII squeezed. It was squeezing. And so you come here to FUD and say, well, it's a good question. Why is Finger any different than GTII? Well, one reason is it's a completely different company. GTI was always a piece of crap company, but they tried at least 10, maybe 12 different ways of trying to squeeze the stock. One did start working right in there, right in there. The magnitude doesn't show up here, but you can see the magnitude if I zoom in. That was the stock squeezing. So what did you guys do? I'm not going to find your name. What did you guys do? You hired Frank Benedetto. You paid him money. You paid Lou Bravo. And that's what he did. And I'm not saying whether he believed it or not. I'm not trying to give him ill intent. And you bribed the CEO of COSM. And so I think Lou came on with some observations that which were justifiable. And he had a rationale. I think Lou believed it. I think you all lied to Lou. But Lou said, look, I can't even speak with the CEO at GTII. I can talk to the CEO of COSM. And the CEO of COSM is telling me that they're going to change the QSIP. And this was Frank Benedetto too, who's an IR guy, unlike Lou. Frank puts himself out as an expert, and he didn't know this shit. Some expert. Saying that if you change the QSIP, it'll squeeze. If you change the name, it'll squeeze. Baloney. That saying that the company will not do a reverse split. I'm talking about COSM. Saying that the company won't do a toxic deal. Saying that the short position was 2,000%. This was all falsehoods. And I don't mean to imply that Lou knew about it. I think Frank should have. He pretends to be an expert. And I emphasize pretend. The CEO of COSM is a Greek. He has accounts offshore. So what happened with COSM? I don't know if you can see the chart of what happened to COSM. This was the recommendation. Hurry over into this stock. This was probably where Lou, the CEO, Gus or whatever, and Frank got you all to buy in. That was the activity. Some people made money, most people didn't, but they did a deal. And then look at how the COSM has come down. Now, I'm not blaming, I want to be clear, I'm not blaming Lou. I think I am blaming Frank because he should have known better. But I am blaming the CEO of COSM. And I'm blaming you, the shorts. So what happened with GTII is you interfered with the squeeze. You tripped it up. And then you're saying, well, why is this any different? It is different. Number one, Finger's not a piece of shit company. Finger isn't only a short squeeze story. But is it susceptible to your interference? Sure. You don't mind breaking the law. You don't mind colluding. You don't mind cheating. But is it going to work this time? I don't think anyone would listen to Frank Benedetto again. I don't think anyone would listen to a CEO coming in with the excuse that I'm going to change the QSIP number and it's going to squeeze. These were falsehoods. I watched it. Nobody's upset about it except me. I watched it. I knew they were falsehoods. Anyway, the answer is you guys interfered with GTII and you won. So far, you haven't won in Finger. You might have a strategy I don't know about, and maybe you can cause the Finger squeeze if it's in progress. We don't know. Maybe you can cause it to stop. But Finger's a completely different story than GTII. And it's a really a fudster question. It's an amateur question. And you're intentionally trying to mislead people so you can make money. For me, I think you're disgusting. All right. No one paid Lou, bravo. Okay, I don't know that anyone did, but I think Lou probably got paid on that healthcare one, maybe. In the case of COSM, I think Lou's payment could have been as simple as letting him buy and giving him shares, but letting him buy in at 14 cents, where the cheapest most of us got in is 20 or 22 cents. It could be something like that. I don't think, I'm not against Lou getting paid, by the way. And I don't believe Lou intentionally tried to screw anybody. I really mean that. I think Lou believed the crap the CEO was telling him. And I would have too if it was the first CEO I had ever spoken with. I'm saying that I think the CEO took advantage of Lou. That's really what I'm saying. And yes, I do want Lou to rest in peace. And I've often prayed for Lou. I think Lou meant well, and I think Lou meant to show you how to make money. And I think he was good at it. I think he was good at it. I'm not blaming a dead man. Let me be clear. I'm not blaming Lou. I'm not blaming Lou. But at the same time, Cindy, I don't think it's fair for people to say that, the squeeze in GTII never worked. What I'm pointing out is that the other side used their ability to bribe COSM, and they paid they got some people in on it. But I don't think Lou knew what the CEO was going to do. The CEO obviously lied to Lou. So I'm not blaming Lou. But those three guys are the guys that came and told us to get into COSM. That's a fact. It doesn't mean that it's his fault. It doesn't mean it's his fault. In fact, I would have lost money in all that. The person I blame is the operator behind the scenes who organized the sale of COSM to us and then put it through, I can't remember the name of the financial group, but there was a financial group that did a deal with COSM, $35 million or $33 million. That's the one who did that is who hurt us. And I think it hurt Lou as well. I don't think Lou wanted to hurt anybody. That's my opinion. I don't think Lou wanted to hurt anybody. But I do think Lou got shares inexpensively. But hey, that's life. Some people get in early. Maybe he was given shares. I don't think that's bad, by the way. But that doesn't change. I can't tell you that he didn't recommend people to go into COSM. He did. That was the trigger point. Now, I'm not saying it's his fault. I blame the manipulators behind the scene, who were, in this case, the Kramers and Alpine, and all that money they had. This is what they want us to do, Cindy, is to blame each other and not see that they're doing it. They're doing it. Lou didn't do it. Lou happened to be the person with the idea. Not all ideas work, but he was being lied to, in my opinion. In my opinion, Lou was being lied to. And the people doing it are the shorts. But anyway, if you think I'm blaming a dead man, I don't think you're listening to me. I think you're reacting defensively, and I appreciate that. Lou was someone that I think, I've said it so many times, I think Lou was trying to help everybody and was trying to make money, and he had vision to see what could be done here. But I think frankly, I think he may have gotten used. But the facts are, it was Lou, Frank, and the Cosmos CEO that said all this shit. I'm not blaming Lou. I am blaming the shorts. I do blame the CEO. I think he knew what he was doing. But I don't know, Cindy. You want me to pretend it didn't happen and just let people attack Ham and say, GTI, I didn't squeeze. Well, it did. It was starting to squeeze. And there's a reason the squeeze stopped. They had a warrant exercisable into shares that was trapping Fidelity and Wells Fargo. The reason it stopped is persuasive guys and a lying CEO, in my judgment, came and told us to buy COSM. Everybody did it. I'm not saying that Lou did it to hurt us or did it on purpose. I'm not blaming a dead man. If Lou were right here, right now, I think Lou would tell you that's what happened. I think Lou was honest about that. Okay, I'm going to hang up. Thanks for coming, everybody.